Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Tech Creators. My name is Divas Jumal and I am a software engineer at Geo Platforms Limited and I have graduated from IIIT Vadodara, and on this channel I make videos related to web development, tutorials, tips and tricks and some vlogs. So if you are interested in these kind of topics, make sure to subscribe and like this video if you find this video interesting. Let's have a quick demo of our application which we are going to build. So this application will have many different functionalities such as private chat, group chat. It will also have message history functionality, and it will also have feature of typing. So whenever someone types, it will show that someone is typing. So make sure to watch the video till the end and make sure to complete this tutorial by making it yourself. Okay, all of the links will be provided in the description. So yeah, let's get started. Creating a real-time chat application with Node.js and Express.js using Socket.io is a great project to learn about real-time communication and WebSocket. So in this tutorial, we will go step by step to build the chat application. So some of the prerequisites are you should make sure that you have Node.js installed, npm installed, which is Node Package Manager, which usually installed with Node.js. So you have to first of all create a new folder for your project and navigate to it in your terminal or command prompt, as I have created here my project as chat application. This is chat application. Now we have to initialize a new Node.js project by running the following command. So inside this directory we will say npm init-y and we will hit enter. Okay, so we have our package.json here. Okay, now we need to install some of the dependencies, so we will say npm install express socket.io and hit enter. Okay, so two of the dependencies are now added. Make sure your version matches with my version, so later on if you are watching this in the future and if some of the things are not working for you, then you have to install this version 4.18.2 and for socket 4.7.4. Okay, then your project will work. So now let's create a index.js file which will be our server. So let's type here index.js and let's create our server. So we will write const express. So we will create a express server. Const http will be equal to require http const socket io is equals to require socket.io, and we will assign our express function to a variable called app, so it will be express function. And now we will create a server const server and it will be a http dot create server and we'll pass app inside this. Okay, now we will say const io will be equals to socket.socket.io and we will pass here our server. Okay, now we will also define the port, so let's keep the port as process.env.port or 3000. Okay, here we will write server.start, control Z, control Z. Here we will write server.listen to this port, and this is the callback function, and we will say log server running on port 3000. So yeah, we have created our server. Now we want to serve some static files from our public folders, so we will allow our app to use express.static and it will point to public folder. So whatever files are there in public folder will be accessible to our express server. Now we will set up our front end, so we will create a folder named public in our project folder. So here we will create a public folder. Inside this folder, we will create an HTML file named index.html. So inside this folder, we will create index.html. Okay. So here I will insert my boilerplate code. So yeah, this is the boilerplate code. If you don't get this with shift exclamation and then enter, then you can also type it out. Okay, it's just HTML tag, then there is head, then there is body, nothing else. Now we will include some of the things. Add title as chat, we'll add title as real time chat app. Okay, and inside the body we want an h1 tag which says welcome to the chat room, and I want a div, and this div will have an ID and this ID will be chat. Okay, and we will have a unordered list, and we'll give this ID of messages. Okay, after that, so let's remove this space because we are not including anything. And after this chat, we want a input box. So input, and this input will be self-closing tag, and we want type to be text, ID will be message input, autocomplete will be off. Now we also want a button, so it will be a button which will say send. So this will send the message, and we want a function of on click to be assigned, and we will say send message will be the function. Okay, now inside the body we also want to include some script, so we'll say script, script, and this script tag will have its source as slash socket.io slash socket.io.js. Okay, so we want this file to be included within our index.html, and I'm thinking to include the JS in the same file, and if the code gets longer, then we can uh, take out this JS code to earn another JS file. Okay, so for now we are using script tag, and we will write the JS code here. The const socket is equals to IO, and we want a function to be send message, and this function will say const message input will be equals to document dot get element by ID, and we want message input as our ID. Now after that we want const message is equals to document dot is equals to. So here what we are doing is we are taking the field, we are taking the element or with the ID of message input. So we are taking this element and we are getting its value, and we are trimming all the things, so like any spaces or anything else. And if there is something in the message, then we are emitting a event which is called chat message, and we are passing the message. And after that we are making message input value uh, to be a empty string. Okay, so we are just clearing the message input box. After that, what we want is, after this function we want socket.io, and this will handle our chat message event. So, and we are passing here message, yeah, and we want a function, so we will say const messages is equals to document dot get element by ID, and we want messages is the same. Let's copy this from here. Yes, it's same. And yeah, we have got our element of messages where we want to show our message which we have sent. Okay, so we will add const li, and we will create a new element. So we'll say document dot create element, and which element we want to create, we want to create a li. Okay, and we will say li dot text content, which will be equals to message. Okay, message, and we want messages dot append child, we want li to be child of ul. Okay, so ul is unordered list and li is a list item, so we will add this message as a list item to our messages div. Cool. Now we also want to handle socket.io event, so we will update our index.js file, which is our server file, to handle socket.io event. So let's go to our index.js, and below this let's add some. So we want to store all the connected users. Okay, so we will say const users is equals to new, we want them to be stored in a set. Okay, so it's a new set, and we want io dot on, so on connection, the on connection event, what we want is we want socket, and we will pass the socket inside this, and we will say log a user connected. Okay, now we want to add the new user to our users set, so we will say users dot add, and we will add our socket dot id. So we all after this we want to notify all the users about the new user count. So we will say io.emit, and what we want is user count, and it will be users dot size. So it will be the size of the set. We want to listen for chat message. So we will say socket dot on. We want chat message message. Okay, and we were passing message. So we will pass here message, and we want to function. So we want to broadcast the message to all connected users. So what we will write is emit io.emit chat message, and what is the message? This is the message which we have passed here. Okay, so this is the message which we have passed here. So this is how the message will be broadcasted to all the users. We also want to handle the socket dot on disconnect event. So disconnect, and when a user gets disconnected, we want to log first of all a user disconnected. Okay, and we want to remove that user from our set. So we will say users dot delete, and we want its socket dot id. So we will delete that socket id from our user set, and we also want to emit this change so that we can notify all users about the updated user count. So we'll say user count is users dot size. Yes, you are right. Sorry, it's not a function. This is also not a function. This is a property. Okay, so I guess we have handled chat message and disconnect and the connection. We will now run the application. To run the application, we will execute the following command in our terminal. So we will say, just let me make it big, and here we will write node index.js. So it is now running server on port 3000. Cool. Now we will open our web browser, and we will navigate to http colon slash slash localhost colon 3000. So you should see the chat application with a message input box, and so now we will open up our web browser, and we will navigate to this http colon slash slash localhost 3000. You should see the chat application with the message input box and a send button. Open another browser window or a new tab and navigate to the same URL to simulate another user. Now you can exchange messages between these two browser instances in real time. Okay, so there are some changes which I have done as I was debugging this application. So first of all, in the index.js, we have console.log a user connected. Then I have also added user in our set, and then we have emitted a event called user count and along with users.size. Okay, after that we are handling our chat message event here, and as we were passing message, so we are currently I am also console logging. So I am console logging from socket id and then message and the actual message. Okay, so it looks something like this. So from, this is the socket id, and then message, and this is the message. This is from socket id, and this is message hello. Okay, so this is what it is. And after that we are emitting io.emit chat message, and after that here is a disconnect event which is same. Let's go to our index.html. In index.html we have here id as messages. So on clicking on send message button, we are getting this message input, and we are taking its value and we are trimming it so that if someone tries to send space, then it will not go. And if there is a message, then we are emitting a event called chat message, and we are passing the message. Okay, so it is the same function which we have handled here. Okay, and after that we are clearing our message input, and after that we have a function socket.on, and we are handling this chat message. So we are passing the message, and currently I'm console logging here. You don't require this, so you can just remove it. And here is our messages. We are getting the messages ul, and we are creating a new li. and then we are adding our text content as message, and we are doing messages dot append child as li. Okay, so that's it. Now let's go to our, let's save this and let's rerun our server. So let's clear this, press Ctrl C and then clear, and then again run node index.js. Okay, so server running on port 3000. So let's go to our port localhost 3000, and here is our first client. Let's press F12 and let's create one more client. So we will say localhost 3000. Let's open its terminal also. So from this is our first terminal. So from here I will write, hi, my name is Divas Raj, and I will send. So here is my first message. Hi, my name. It would have come here. So from this ID, this is the message. Hi, my name is Divas Raj, and let's go to another client. So here is our another client, and as you can see here, we have got our message which we have sent from this client, which was, hi, my name is Divas Raj. So from this client, client 2, I will send, hello, my name is Vimal. Okay, and I will send. So I have sent this message, second message from second client, which is this one. So let's go to first client and see if message has arrived or not. So yes, we have got our second message. Hello, my name is Vimal, and it will also be visible in our VS Code console. So this is the ID of the second user, and the message is, hello, my name is Vimal. Okay, cool. So our connections are perfectly working, our messages are perfectly delivering. Now let's with our further application development. So as we can see, it was very difficult for us to distinguish between which user has sent which message. So now let's add user authentication to give users some unique identities. We can implement a simple username based authentication system. So users will be required to enter a unique username before joining the chat room. So first of all, we will update the front end in our index.html. We will go to, from here we will create a new div. So we will give it a ID of login, and inside this we want an input, and input will be text, ID will be username input, autocomplete will be off, placeholder will be enter your username. Okay, we also want a button to submit this. So we will say, so this button will say login, and it will have a on click function of login. Okay, cool. So as we have updated our front end, now we will also, so we will update our JavaScript code to handle our login. So we'll go down here, and this is a function. Let's make this a little prettier. So Shift Alt F. So I want, so after this socket dot on function, or maybe we should handle this above everything else. So we will go here and we'll say let username be empty string. Okay, and then here will be a function to handle login, and this function, what this function will do is it will take username input, it will pick the username input field, and it will take the username value, and it will be almost same. So let's write it. So it will be cons username input, and it will be document dot get element by id, and we will say user name input, and from that we will pick the username. So we will say username will be username input dot value dot trim, so that we don't get any spaces. And if we have a username, that means username is not empty, then we will say document dot get element by id, and we will say login, we will get the login element, and we will set our style dot display to be none, so that our login form is gone now. Okay, and we will set document dot get element by id, and we want our chat element, and we will set its style dot display to be block. and we will just duplicate this and for 2 times, and here we want chat in, and we want message input, and here send message btn, which is same. So from our button we will also give it a id, so it will have id of this id, send message btn. Okay, and we want our message input to get focused, so we'll say document dot get element by id, and it will be the same message input focus. For all of this we want our socket dot emit, we want to emit a event, it will be login event, and we will say we will also pass username. Okay, so I think this looks fine. Dun, dun, dun. This is here, this is here. Okay, cool. So now we will handle this logic now on our server. So we will go to index.js, and here instead of now set, we want to use map. So we will say map because we want to store connected users and their usernames. So after this, we will have to remove this from here, and we will also have to remove this. Okay, and we will say here, so socket dot on event login, we are also getting username, so we will check first of all if username is already taken. So if users dot has username, so if there exists a username, then we will say socket dot control z socket dot emit, and we will say login error, and we will send a message, username is already taken, please choose another one. Okay, if it is not the case, then it will go to else, it will store the username and socket id in the users map. So users dot set username with socket dot id, and it will log, this is backticks dollar curly braces and username logged in. Okay, so we will notify all users about the new user count. So inside this we will say iu.emit user count, and it will be users dot size, and size is a property, not a function, so it will not have the brackets. And chat event will remain the same. For disconnect, we will have to make some changes. So user disconnected, user delete is not like this, user count is also not like this. Instead, we will remove the user from the users map. So for that, we will have to write for const username id of users dot entries. We want if id is equals to socket dot id, then we want users to delete this username, okay, this key from the map, and we will log backticks dollar curly bracket username log out. Okay, and we will now just break and get out of this for loop. And after getting out of this for loop, we want to emit a event called user count, and we will now show users dot size, so it will show the new size after removing one user. So we also want to update the front end JavaScript code to handle login errors from this. So whenever there will be this functionality, whenever this code will run, we want to handle it on our front end. So we will go here and we will say in this case the chosen username is already taken, so we should inform the user about the error and update the front end. So this is the login function, and after this we will handle the error. So we will socket dot on login error. We want error message which we were passing, so we will just take that error message and just we will say alert with this error message. Cool. So with these changes, the chat application now requires users to enter a unique username when they first join. If the username is available, they will be logged in and can start chatting. If the username is already taken, they will be notified with an error message and prompted to choose another one. So now you have a real-time chat application with user authentication, providing each user with a unique identity. So we want to allow users to choose chat room or private messaging. Okay. So we will implement a feature that enables user to either select an existing chat. So uh we want here a span. So we'll say span, and here we want an ID, and ID will be a name. Okay, so within this we will get our name. So here when login username is set, we want this to be none, and we want access to our name element. So here we want access to our name also. So we will go here and we'll say const name field will be document dot get element by ID, and it will be name. So after getting the name field, we want name field dot inner text to be equal to username. Okay, cool. Maybe we should write this with inside this, and after login, uh, yeah, this looks fine. So let's rerun our application node index.js. Okay, now we will go to localhost, and here let's press F12, and let's press F12 here also. So now here we will write name as Divas Raj, and let's log in. So yeah, welcome to the chat room Divas Raj, and let's type here welcome to the chat room Vimal. So log in. Yes, this works. So you Divas Raj logged in, Vimal logged in. This is send first message. So hey Divas Raj, and let's click on send. So message is sent, and you can see here there's a message. Hey Divas Raj. I'll say hello Vimal, and I'll send the message, and you can get the message here. So yeah, this works perfectly fine. Now we want to allow users to choose between chat rooms or private messaging. Okay, and that can greatly enhance the functionality and user experience of our chat application. So first of all, we will add some style here. So style will display none, and so we also want to have room selection and chat rooms. We will create a div. Its ID will be so its ID will be room selection, and style will be display block. And for input, we want ID to be room name input, autocomplete to be off, enter chat room name. So button will say join chat room, and let's implement an on click function, and it will be join chat room function. Whenever this button gets clicked, this function will get called. Okay. We also want one more button to start our private chat. So we'll write start So here we have created another div and its ID is chat room and currently its style is display none. We have here h2 with the chat room and a span which will call current room. So we will write here the name of the current chat room, and after that we want to display all the messages inside this chat room. So this UL has came from down. This UL which was initially outside this div has came inside this div input here. So let's key bring this inside our div and one more time so it is inside all of this. Okay, cool. So the front end of our chat room is now ready. Now we will update our JavaScript code for the front end. So we will update the JavaScript code which is down here, and we will handle the joining chat rooms and start private chat. So let's define one more variable called current room and let's keep its value as an empty string. So here we have a login. After this, let's handle our join chat room. So function, let's copy this name from here. So copy this name from here to down here. Room name, let's extract our room name from this element. So room name input dot value dot trim, and if there is a room name, then we will say current room will be equals to room name, and then document dot get element by ID, and we want room selection to be disabled. Okay, then style dot display to be equals to none. Then I want document dot get element by ID to be, so we also want that to be come out. So style dot display will be equals to block. So after that we want to have a current room, and we want to display the name. So we want document dot get element by ID, and our span, where is our span? Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, this one. We will take this down here, and this is ID. And then we want to set its text content to be room name. Okay, and then document dot get element by ID message input dot focus. Okay, this looks cool. And for this join chat room functionality for the front end is completed. Now what we have to join chat room is done. We are done. Start private chat. Okay, so let's copy this and let's create its function also. So function, paste this. Let's create the function. So const and recipient input will be equals to join chat rooms and message prompt, and prompt will be enter the username of the person you chat with. Okay, and if we get recipient input, then we will set current room to be empty, and since this is a private chat, so no specific room is needed. and we want document dot get element by ID, room selection. It was room selection, right? Room selection, yeah. So just copy this ID because ID's name should match. So just paste it here. So we are setting its display to be none, and then so that it's not visible. And then chat room dot style dot display to be equal to block. So it is visible now. We want document dot get element by ID. We also want to have current room text content to be equal to non backticks, and here we'll write private chat with, and this is the dollar, this is curly bracket recipient input. Okay, so now it will be displayed as a text, and we want to focus on our text field. So it will be message input dash focus to be dash focus dot focus, and then so now we will emit a event called private chat, and we will send our recipient input as a value. So we are done with our front end and the JS code. We will go to server and we will handle our logic here. So from here we will handle the joining chat room and private message. So from here we will on chat message event where we are managing our chat message event. We want to broadcast the message to the appropriate room or recipient. Okay, so if current room and current room is not equal to username. So what we will have to do is to get access to username here. We will create a variable here. So username here, and we will take it as empty user and as user. And here we will write username will be user. Okay, this looks fine. So now we have our username here. And for current room, so if we have our current room and current room is not equal to username, that means io.to current room, and then emit chat message. And what is the chat message? So it will be backticks dollar dash username, and then and what is the message? Okay, cool. Else if current room and recipient, then it's a private message. So const recipient socket ID will be users dot get recipient. Okay, we get recipient socket ID. Then only we are going to emit a io.to. So here we will write io.to recipient socket ID dot emit chat message private, and then we want username, and then we want to message. Okay, this looks okay. Socket dot on join event, so we want to handle that. So we will listen for joining a chat room. So socket dot on join room, and then room name is passed, and if so we want to leave the current room if there is any before joining a new one. So current room, if there is a current room, then we want to leave it. So socket dot leave, and which room? It is current room, and then socket join this room. Okay, and then set current room to be equal to room name. Okay, and log backticks dollar user name joined room room name. Okay, so this is how we will handle room. Now let's handle private chat. So we will listen for starting a private chat. So pocket.on private chat, and it will be recipient. Actually, its spelling is not correct. Now we'll say recipient will be equal to this recipient and dot trim, and if users dot has recipient. So we will start a private chat by leaving the current room, if any, and notifying the recipient to do the same. If current room, then we will say lost socket dot leave this current room. Cons recipient socket ID will be equal to users dot get ID. Sorry, get recipient. If we get recipient socket ID, then io dot to recipient socket ID dot emit start private chat, comma user name. Cool. And then current room will be equal to empty. No specific room for private chat, and we'll say log $this username started a private chat with recipient. Okay. Else, else if we don't have recipient, then we will say socket.emit private chat error user recipient not found. This will be the error if we didn't found recipient in our user map. And on disconnect, and we will remove this code from here, and I'll say users dot delete username and log username logged out. So with these updates, users can now choose to join existing chat room or initiate private chat with other users. So when users enter a chat room, messages they send will be visible to all users in the chat room. However, if they start a private chat, their messages will only be visible to the intended recipient. I have debugged this application, and some of the changes which I have made is what I am going to show you now. So first of all, this is the same, and then on connection we have username, we have current room, and we have recipient. Okay, so you have to make these two variables if you haven't made. And then on login we are calling this function, so you can have a look. We are checking if users dot has user, then we are giving a error called username is already taken, please choose another one. Okay, else we are setting up the username, and we are taking user here. Okay, not username. So we are setting here username, and after that we are emitting user count. So I hope this is clear. After that we have socket dot on, we have private chat event. So this is private chat. We have here recipient which we are sending from our content. So I will, after this server code, I will also explain the index.html. Okay, so here we are setting up the recipient.trim. So here is the recipient variable, and if user has recipient, and if it is in already any room, then we are leaving that room before joining the private chat. Okay, recipient socket ID we are getting using users.get recipient. So we have created users as a map, if you remember here. And yeah, so map stores key value pair, where the key is the recipient name and value is the socket ID. So that's how we are getting recipient socket ID, and if we got the socket ID, then we are emitting start private chat event with the username, and we are setting current room to be empty string, and we are console logging username started a private chat with recipient. Else, if we don't have any recipient, then we will say private chat error, user is not found. So we are handling here join room event. So we are getting room name, and if we are already in any room, then we will first of all leave that room and we will join this room, and we will set current room to be the room name, and we will console log username join room name. After that, we are handling our chat message event. So we are passing here message, we are getting the message, and we are console logging current room and recipient. Okay, if we got the room and room is not equals to username, then we are emitting in the current room chat message, and here is the username and this is the message. As if we don't have any room and we have recipient, that means it's a private message. So we will first of all get the recipient socket ID. So users dot get recipient, we get the sender socket ID. So we get users dot get username. After that, we are console logging recipient socket ID as recipient socket ID. This may not be required, so you can remove or you can include. And if we got the recipient socket ID, then we are sending recipient socket ID dot emit chat message private, and username and the sender. Maybe you can include this in another if. So if we got sender socket ID, then emit this event for the sender also. But you can keep it like this also for now. And for we here, this connect function is, I guess, the same. So we are users dot delete username, and then we are console logging username logged out and emitting user count. Okay, cool. Now let's go to index.html. So it's the same login, and then this is the login button. So after that we have chat, and we have room selection. So room selection has two buttons, join chat room, and which has an on-click function of join chat room. We have start private chat, which has on-click function of start private chat. We are handling both of these functions down, okay, in the same file. Maybe we can create another index.js file within this public folder, but yeah, for now we are just handling all of the JavaScript within the same HTML file. We have UL where all the messages will be displayed. We have input, we have button which has on click function of send message. We are importing our script of socket.io.js, and here we have three variables: socket, username, and current room. Here is the login function, so we are getting the username, and we are also setting the username whenever the user logs in, so that we get to know who is the current user. Okay, so if we get the username, then we are doing all of this thing. We are setting display to be none, setting display to be block, and all of the stuff. And after end of the everything, we are emitting socket event called login. We are passing username from here. Okay, we have join chat room function here. So here we are getting all of the elements, and then if we got the room name, then we are doing all of the block and none, and setting the text content and focusing on the message input. And at the end, we are doing socket.emit join room, and we are passing the current room variable. We have start private chat function here. So recipient input, we are getting it from the prompt, and we are setting current room to be an empty string. We are doing all of the no none block, and setting the text content, and focusing on the message input. And at the end, we are emitting an event called private chat with the recipient input. And here we are handling login error. So whenever we get the error, we will get error message, and we will just alert with the error message. We are having here our send message function. So we are getting it from message input, and we are getting, if there is a message, then we are emitting chat message, and this is the message. Then we are making message input as an empty, so that the previous message is removed and the input box is clear. After that, we are handling here chat message. So we are passing message, and we are setting it we are creating a new element called li, and we are setting its text content to be message, and we are appending it to the messages ul. Okay, so I hope this is clear. These are all the things. Now let's have a demo. So here we will write node index.js, and the server is running on port 3000. Now let's go to our browser. So here we have welcome to the chat room. Let's enter the username. So let's enter Divas and log in. So welcome to the chat room, Divas. Let's create another local host 3000, and username will be Vimal. So here it is. Welcome to the chat room, Vimal. Now let's start a private chat. I want to start a private chat with Divas. So chat room, private chat with Divas, and let's also start a private chat with Vimal from here. So start a private chat with Vimal. Now let's send a message from Divas to Vimal. So I will say hi Vimal, and let's hit and send. So here is the message. Divas says hi Vimal, and as you can see here, we have the message. Okay, we have the message from Divas. He says hi Vimal, so I will say from here hi Divas, how are you? And hit send. So the message is sent, and here we have received the message from Vimal. Cool. So our private chat functionality is working. Now let's check our group chat functionality. So let's close all of these two, and let's go to 3000. Let's enter the verse again. Now we will create three users. So Vimal and another user as that's Raj. Okay. So they all will join the same chat room. So the chat room will be DRV, join chat room. So chat room is DRV, DRV, so join chat room DRV, and you also join chat room as DRV. Okay, cool. So all of them are in the same chat room. So whenever someone sends a message, all of them will receive the same message. As we have the group functionality, so I'll say, hey, bros. And let's hit send. So we have received this here, and we also received this here. So let's say Divas says, hey bros. So Raj will say, hey, hey man. And Vimal also got the message, and Divas also got the message. Let's send a message from Vimal. So it will say, hey guys, subscribe. Huh, cool. So hit send, and everyone got the message. Okay, so our group chat functionality is also working. That's cool. Now let's implement some more features. So now what we want to do is we want to implement message history to show previous chat messages whenever a user joins. We need to store the chat messages for each room on the server and send them to the user when they join. So we can use an array to store the message history for each room. So we will update our index.js file. Let's clear it. So similar to the users, we will create another map. So we will say here const chat history will be equals to new map, where we will store all of the history of for each room. Okay, so here we will, for login we don't want anything, for private chat we don't want anything, for join room no, for chat messages okay, we want something here. We want to know if we have current room, and if is not chat history dot has current room, then we want to set chat history dot set current room and its value as key value as an empty array. Okay. So whenever a new room is created, we will create its corresponding key value pair in our chat history map. After that, we'll say chat history dot get current room dot push, and what we want to push is user as username and message. Cool. And I think, yeah, this looks fine. When on join, we want to handle some things. So after this, we want to send all of the messages. So if chat history dot has current room, then we want const message history to be equal to chat history dot get current room. So we want to send message history to the user when they join a room. So this is how we will do it. And we will say socket dot emit message history, and we will send message history. Cool, I guess we have handled everything properly. Yes. Now let's update our front end JavaScript code. So here we will go down here. First of all, let's create a Git. Okay. So wait, I will say Git init, and now this is a Git repository. Now we also want to create a Git ignore file. So dot Git ignore. We want this one, and here I will write slash node underscore modules. Okay, cool. So we have got our node modules removed. So we have only these many changes. So let's commit them. So git status, git add everything, git commit dash m added private chat and room chat functionality. Cool. So everything is committed so that our work is saved. Now let's clear it. Now let's work forward. So here we have current room socket and username. So we want to display our messages. So we will take this block of code from here, and we'll go above and we'll create a function which will say display message, and we will paste all of the 4 lines here. And here we will pass message. And down here we will call display message and we'll pass a message. Maybe we can remove this line, it's not required. And we also want to have socket dot on, and the event name was message history, and it will history pass history, and yeah, const messages will be equals to document dot get element by id, and the element name is messages dot inner html will be an empty string. So we will clear the existing messages, and from here we will say history dot for each element. So for each entry, what we want is we want const message will be equals to entry dot user, which will be equals to, if it is equals to username, then we will say u dollar entry dot message. Else we will say dollar entry dot user, and this is the message. So dollar entry dot message. We will just write here, what is this issue? Expected this. Why? Because it should end here, and this should start from here and end there. Yeah, cool. And we will call display message function. Here we'll pass the message. Yeah, I think with these updates, when a user joins a chat room, they will receive the message history for that room and see the previous chat messages. This way, new users joining a room can catch up on the conversation history and have more seamless experience. Okay, so now let's test our application. So here we will type the username as Divas and login. We will use currently for two users, so it will be Raj. So Divas Raj are will now join the chat room DRV. So Raj will also join DRV. So now they both are in the same room DRV. Now let's say he sends the first message as hi, and then he receives and he replies hello. Then Divas says how are you? Then Raj will say I am good. How are you doing? Okay. So now they have a conversation going on. Now let's say third person joins, so he is Divas, he is Raj, so he will be Vimal. Yes. So Vimal also joins DRV, so he should be able to see all the history. So let's click on join chat room. Yes, so he got all the history of the room. Hi, hello, how are you? How are you? I am good. How are you doing? Let's say he sends a message. Woo, hoo, and others will also receive the message. Cool. So we have also implemented the chat history functionality with the help of maps. Now let's implement one more functionality. Okay, so let's get back to VS Code. So now we will now add typing indicator to show when someone is typing a message. So adding typing indicator is a nice touch to enhance the real-time chat experience, allowing users to know when someone is composing a message. So in our index.html, or send message, message history. Here, let's join chat room, login, in display typing below the display message. So function display typing. So here will be username is typing, and here we will say const typing status will be equals to document dot get element by ID typing status, and if is typing if he is typing, then we'll say typing status dot text content will be equals to dollar username is typing dot dot dot. He is not typing, then we will say typing status dot text content to be equals to empty. So this is how we will display typing, and below here for we will also listen for. Let's do it here. So socket dot on will be typing, and we will say data, and it will be a display typing, and the data will be data dot username comma data dot is typing. Cool. We'll pass these two things inside our display typing function. Now we will go to our server, and here we will listen for login. Then we want to listen for typing. Socket dot on typing, and if is typing, then we'll say if current room, then we will broadcast the typing status to other users in the room. So socket.io, socket.to, current room dot emit typing, and username is typing. Okay, good. So whenever user disconnects, we also want to handle that user is not typing. So here from here we will handle if current room socket dot to current room dot emit. So we want to notify other users that this user is no longer typing. So we want to emit typing, and we'll pass username and is typing to be false. So we want to update our front-end JS code inside our HTML to handle the typing event and notify the server when the user starts or stops typing. So we want a event handler for typing status. So we'll say let typing timeout, and here we'll say function handle typing, and if we have current room, then you want to say clear timeout, typing timeout, and typing timeout will be equals to set timeout, and the function where we will say socket dot emit typing to be false after 1 second. Okay, so send typing equals to false after 1 second of inactivity is what this is doing. So we want to add event listener for message input and sending. So we will say, let's write it here only. So for const message input, we will get document dot get element by ID, and the ID is message input, and message input dot add event listener. Event listener is input, and function is handle typing. Cool. So with these updates, when a user starts typing a message, a typing indicator will be displayed to other users in the same chat room. If the user stops typing, the typing indicator will disappear after a short delay. This feature helps create a more interactive and responsive chat experience. So in the HTML, where we will add our where should we add? Let's add it here below the send button. So we will create a p tag and we'll give it a ID of display typing status. So the ID will be typing status, and class will be typing status. Cool. So now we will close this and let's test. Okay, so there is a little change. So in this function of handle typing within index.html, we are first of all checking if there is a current room, then we are clearing the timeout, typing timeout, and then we are emitting typing as true. And after every 1 second, we are setting the typing as false. Okay, so this is the change. See if this works or not. Open up the windows side by side and we'll say enter the username. So Divas and login. Enter the username Vimal and login. Let's go to DRV chat room, and yours and Vimal will also join the DRV chat room. So whenever the Divas will start typing here, it will show Divas is typing, and whenever the Vimal is typing, then here it will show Divas is typing, Vimal is typing. Okay, so let's start typing. So hi, as you can see here, it was written Divas is typing. Hi, I am Divas Raj Vimal. Cool, nice. Now let's type from here. So hi, I you have to see this side. Okay, I am Vimal, and send the message. Send the message. Cool. So this is our typing status functionality also. Okay, so this is done. Now let's improve the user interface and styling to make it more visually appealing for you guys, because you guys will not see this video until you see something beautiful. That's how I was also when I was in college, like you guys. So yeah, let's make this more visually appealing for our audience, as our all the functionalities are now completed. So improving the user interface and styling of the chat application can greatly enhance the user experience. So let's go up here and decrease its size, close the server, and from here Let's add our style sheet, link CSS style sheet, style.css, and we will have one div, and this div will be have a class of container which will contain all of the elements. So it will come till here before the script and save. We have div login and ID as login. We will also add class as section, class as input, and for button we will add class of button. Here also we will add some class, and it will be also section. It will have class of room dash selection, and this will have class of input. This button will have class of button, and here also class of button. Here in our h2 we want class to be room dash header, class will be messages, class will be input, here class will be button, and here class is typing status already. So yeah, I think that's it. Now we will create one new file called CSS. So style.css will also be inside public folder style.css. Okay, so I have made some changes in our index.html file. So body structure has changed a little bit. H1 is outside our container and container is within two different containers. First one is body container and second one is phone container. Okay, so I will show you the changes. Also, I have included here this Google font link, which I will provide in the description, or you can just copy it. Family is Sophia. And here I have two div, extra div, and inside that div I have container. And yeah, those two divs are like completed here. So this is what are the changes. Also, I have this. So it's an image, okay? It's a background image which is shown on our application. So it is within inside this public folder, and this is how you have to include it. So in the body, you have to include it as a background image with providing its URL as this URL, okay? We have body container, this one, and then container, and then section, then input, then button container, then we have button. Maybe we can remove button container, but let it be. Title, home, sorry, it's a name, and we are displaying name in some different way. Here is our phone container. This is our room header. This is our messages. This is our message li. This is our messages li. And so if it is even, then it will show box as blue. If it is odd, then it will show box as white. Okay. Typing status will be of color white. So yeah, these are all the changes. Now let's have a demo, final demo. So I will type here. So this is how our chat application looks like currently. So if I write my name here as Divas Raj, then it says welcome to the chat from Divas Raj. Let's write here Vimal. So it will say welcome to the chat room Vimal. Now and let's enter the chat room name. So let's enter chat room as Indian developers. So this is our chat room. Let's join our chat room, Indian developers. Okay, now whenever we will type here it should show typing status. So see, so I will write, hey Vimal, how are you doing, and I will hit send. So here we got our message. Hey Vimal, how are you doing? So from here Vimal can reply, hello viewers, Raj, I am doing good. How are you? And send. So here we got our and the message, hello Divas Raj, I'm doing good. How are you? And let's say Divas Raj asks, have you subscribed yet? And Vimal says, yeah, of course. So yeah, this is our chat application, and we can also have private chat. So let's show private chat. So here Divasraj, and let's here write Vimal, and let's start a private chat. So I want to start a private chat with Vimal, and here login and start a private chat with Divasraj. Okay, now let's write here. Hello, viewers. No, it's my name. Vimal, how are you? And here I will write hello, viewers. Raj, what about you? And hit send. So yeah, that's it. Our private chat functionality is also working. Cool. This was the image I was talking about as a background image. So its name is a little different. I'll provide the link in the description.